The phone's buzz sliced through the quiet of my bedroom, its screen glowing like a beacon in the dark as I reached for it, my body aching from a double shift, mornings at the diner, evenings cleaning houses, my hands raw from bleach, my back screaming. It was Elena, my sister. Maria, you need to see this. I wasn't sure if I should send it, but you deserve to know. A 30-second video was attached, and my chest tightened, a sour dread pooling in my gut as I tapped play. Sophia, my daughter, sat in Elena's living room, the leather couch gleaming under soft lights, a wine glass catching the glow in her hand, her legs crossed, her smirk sharp enough to cut. My niece Carla sat across, her face uneasy, picking at her nails. My mom's such a joke, Sophia said, her voice dripping with contempt, eyes rolling. She's never accomplished anything, just a pathetic loser slaving at that greasy diner, cleaning rich people's houses. It's so embarrassing, I don't even invite friends over. Can you imagine? Oh, my mom's a waitress with coffee stains on her apron, scrubbing toilets for a living. So tragic. My knuckles whitened around the phone, my breath hitching, the words landing like fists, pathetic, loser, embarrassing. My own daughter, the child I'd poured my life into, tearing me apart. 20 years I'd worked 2 jobs, dawn at the diner, nights cleaning, my dreams of college, of a better life, buried under bills and Sophia's needs. I grew up in a cramped apartment, my parents' voices strained over unpaid rent, my shoes patched with tape, my stomach empty. At 15, I swore Sophia would never know that hunger. When her dad walked out, leaving us when she was 5, I held her close, her tiny hand in mine, promising a warm home, new clothes, a future. I took every shift, every gig, my hands calloused, my body worn, just to give her school trips, dance lessons, a life without want. And this? Her mocking me, sipping wine I paid for, in my sister's house? Elena's voice cut through on the video, Sophia, that's your mother. Do you hear yourself? Sophia laughed, cold, tossing her hair. She acts like a martyr for working. Parents are supposed to provide. It's not a big deal. The video ended, but her words pressed against my ribs, heavy, unyielding, like a stone I couldn't shift. Elena's next message came, I confronted her. She doesn't feel bad, Maria. She believes it. Tears burned my eyes, but I forced them back, stumbling to the bathroom, the chip sink cold under my palms, the mirror reflecting a tired woman, gray streaks in my hair, lines etched from sleepless nights. Sophia, 27, still in my house, sleeping till noon, demanding oat milk, designer clothes, never thanking me, she thought I was nothing. I remembered her at 7, clinging to me after a nightmare, whispering, "You're my hero, Mommy." Where was that girl? At the diner next morning, I showed Linda, my coworker, the video, my hands shaking over a lukewarm coffee. My son called me a nobody for waitressing, she said, wiping a sticky counter, her apron stained. I cut him off, phone, car, everything. He got a job in weeks. Make her feel the real world, Maria. Rosa, my new neighbor, sat at the counter, nursing a tea. I kicked my daughter out at 25, she said, her voice firm but kind. She hated me, then thanked me. Tough love works. Their words lit a spark, not just anger, but resolve. I wouldn't scream or cry. Sophia needed a lesson etched in her bones, one she'd never forget. Morning light filtered through the kitchen curtains, but Sophia's words, pathetic, loser, cast a shadow as I sipped coffee at 6:15, the mug warm against my cracked hands, the scent of bleach lingering from last night's cleaning. My back ached, my eyes heavy, all for her. She'd demanded a $200 jacket last month, scoffed when I came home in my diner uniform, rolled her eyes when I asked her to wash a dish. I'd made her life too easy, and she'd turned it into contempt. No more. By noon, she shuffled in, oversized sweater slipping off her shoulder, pajama shorts wrinkled, yawning as she grabbed the oat milk I'd bought, $5 a carton, just for her. Morning, she mumbled, scrolling her phone, the screen's glow catching her bored expression. Afternoon, I corrected, rinsing my cup, the sink's drip echoing my rising pulse. She poured her organic cereal, oblivious, humming to some pop song. I need your card later, she said, not looking up. Boutique sale, leather jacket. I set the cup down, the clink sharp. No, she blinked, startled, her spoon pausing. No? Not today, not tomorrow, not ever, I said, wiping my hands on a dish towel, my heart pounding like a drum. She laughed, nervous, thinking it was a joke. What's wrong? Bad day at work? That word, work, hit like a slap, raw and stinging. Let's talk about work, I said, crossing my arms, the linoleum cold under my bare feet. I've worked 2 jobs for 20 years, diner mornings, cleaning nights, my back breaking, my hands raw, to keep this roof over us, and you call me a pathetic loser. Her face paled, her phone slipping to the counter with a soft thud. Elena sent me the video, Sophia. I heard every word. Guilt flickered in her eyes, then defiance flared, her jaw tightening. You're blowing it out of proportion, Mom. I was just venting. Venting? I stepped closer, my voice low, steady, though my chest burned. Saying I'm embarrassing, a failure, that you're ashamed of me, that's venting? She tossed her hair, rolling her eyes. You act like a saint for working. Parents are supposed to provide. You're not special. The words cut deep, but I held my ground, my nails digging into my palms. You're right. Parents provide. But you're 27, not a child. I pulled an envelope from the kitchen drawer, its edges worn, and slid it across the table, the wood scratched from years of use. Open it. She ripped it open, her manicured nails catching the paper, frowning at a job application and apartment listing. What's this? You're on your own, I said, my smile cold, my heart twisting with guilt and resolve. 30 days to find a job and a place to live. Her jaw dropped, her eyes wide with shock. You can't do this. I'm done funding someone who thinks I'm worthless, I said, my voice firm despite the ache in my throat. She slammed the papers down, cereal bowl rattling. Fine, I'll go live with Dad. I laughed, bitter, the sound echoing in the quiet kitchen, memories of her father's empty promises flooding back, his last words, I'll call, never honored. Good luck with that, I said, turning away, the floor creaking under my steps. Mom, wait, she called, her voice softer, almost desperate. After you figure it out, I replied, walking out, my pulse racing. That night, Sophia texted Tara, her best friend, venting, Mom's kicking me out over nothing. I saw the post on her open laptop, left carelessly on the couch. Tara's reply was public, brutal, nothing? You live rent-free, eat her food, and call her a loser. Grow up. Comments flooded in, strangers, friends, calling Sophia spoiled, ungrateful. Her phone buzzed with notifications, her face paling as she read them, her world shrinking. I stood in the hallway, unseen, watching her scroll, her fingers trembling. The weight was settling, and I felt it, the shift, the beginning of her reckoning. The house was a battlefield of silence, the air thick with tension, the hum of the fridge the only sound breaking the quiet. Sophia stayed in her room, her door cracked, her laptop's glow casting shadows as she scrolled job postings, her face drawn, her eyes heavy with exhaustion. I watched from the hall, my coffee cold in my hands, my heart torn, pride at her effort, pain at her betrayal still burning, her words, pathetic, loser, looping in my mind. By day 5, she dragged herself in from a retail interview, her sneakers scuffed, her ponytail loose, her eyes dull as she collapsed onto the couch, its springs groaning under her weight. They didn't hire me, she muttered, her voice flat, defeated. No experience, they said. It's just a cashier job, how much experience do you need to scan a barcode? I leaned against the counter, the linoleum cool under my elbows, sipping coffee that tasted bitter. The world doesn't hand you jobs, Sophia. You earn them, just like I did. She stared at the ceiling, the apartment listings crumpled beside her, their edges curling. Reality was hitting, and it was heavy, unyielding. At the diner, I joined a single-parent support group, Linda's idea, the community center's fluorescent lights harsh, the chairs creaking as we shared our stories. James, a burly dad with calloused hands, talked about cutting off his son for disrespect. "He's a mechanic now, calls me his hero," he said, his voice rough but warm. His story steadied me, gave me hope. Back home, I caught Sophia sneaking out, phone in hand, her sneakers quiet on the hardwood, avoiding job apps. "Where you going?" I asked, my voice sharp, cutting through the dusk. She flinched, her hand on the doorknob. "Just a walk." I didn't believe her, but I let her go, my jaw tight. She needed to learn the hard way, just like I had at 16, cleaning houses to help my mom, my knees bruised, my dreams on hold. On day 10, Sophia reached for a yogurt in the fridge, her fancy kind, $3 a pop, the kind she'd demanded since college. I held out my hand, my nails chipped from scrubbing floors. "That's $3. She froze, the yogurt half open, its foil glinting under the kitchen light. "You're charging me for yogurt?" Her voice was incredulous, her brows furrowed. "Adults pay their way," I said, my tone flat, though my heart raced. Her jaw tightened, her eyes flashing, but she had no argument. She slammed the yogurt down, the counter shaking, and stormed to her room, the door slamming with a thud that echoed. The lesson stung, and I felt it, her pride cracking, her world shifting. Sophia's job search was a gauntlet. She went to a job center, the room packed, noisy with ringing phones and coughing strangers, her resume dismissed by employers who saw her marketing degree as useless without experience. "These apartments are $1,600 a month," she groaned one night, her calculator's buttons clicking, her notebook scrawled with numbers. "Even with a job, I can't afford that." I nodded, stirring my tea, the steam curling in the air. "That's why I work 2 jobs, Sophia. Sacrifice isn't pretty." I remembered my own nights, 20 years ago, budgeting on scraps, choosing between groceries and rent, my hands trembling. She looked away, her shoulders slumping, understanding creeping in. At the support group, I shared her struggle, my voice shaking. "You're giving her a gift," James said, his eyes kind. "She'll see it." I hoped so, but watching Sophia's defeated slump, her once confident stride gone, I wondered if I'd pushed too far, if I'd broken her instead of building her. On day 15, Sophia knocked on my bedroom door, her eyes red, her voice barely a whisper, the hallway dim, the air heavy with the scent of my lavender candle. "Can we talk?" I let her in, sitting on my bed, the quilt patched from years of late nights, its threads soft under my fingers. She took the chair, her hands twisting, her nails bitten. "I get it now," she said, tears spilling down her cheeks, catching the candlelight. "I thought I was better than you, college, friends with fancy lives, big plans. But I couldn't even get a cashier job. Everything's so expensive, so exhausting. You did it alone, and I called you nothing. I'm so sorry, Mom." Her voice cracked, raw, her shoulders shaking, and for the first time, I saw my daughter, not the entitled girl who sneered, but a woman humbled, broken open. I swallowed, my hands clenched in my lap, her words a salve and a scar. "Do you know why your dad left?" I asked, my voice steady despite the ache. She sniffled, wiping her nose. "He didn't want us?" "He was a coward," I said, my gaze fixed on her. "He thought life should be easy, that the world owed him. Like you did. I worked so you wouldn't struggle, but I sheltered you too much, and that's on me." Her lip trembled, guilt heavy in her eyes, her breath hitching. "Can I start over?" she asked, her voice small but firm. I studied her, no arrogance, just regret, raw and real. "Are you ready to change?" She nodded, her jaw set. "Yes, I swear." I squeezed her hand, her skin warm, her pulse quick. "Then we start over." Sophia called Carla that night, her voice shaky over the phone, the living room quiet except for the hum of the fridge. "I was awful to Mom," she said, pacing, her sneakers scuffing the rug. "I didn't see her sacrifices, didn't get it." Carla's reply was gentle but firm, "You hurt her, Sophia, but you can make it right. Own it, and keep going." That conversation lit a fire. She applied for a cafe job and got it, came home limping, her apron stained, her face flushed from a shift of rude customers snapping their fingers, spilled coffee, measly tips. "Now you see what I've done for 20 years, I said, setting down my tea, the mug's warmth fading. She nodded, no eye roll, just a quiet understanding, her hands fidgeting with her apron strings. She bought generic cereal, budgeted her tips, sat at the kitchen table with a pen, not a sigh, checking apartment listings, her calculator clicking. I watched, my heart swelling but cautious, her words, pathetic, loser, still a faint echo, a scar not fully healed. At the support group, I shared her progress, the community center's walls lined with faded posters, the air smelling of stale coffee. "She's changing," I said, my voice steady. James grinned, his chair creaking. "You gave her a wake-up call, Maria. She's lucky." I saw my daughter emerging, humble, determined, her once smug stride replaced by a quiet resolve, but the pain lingered, a reminder of how deep her betrayal cut. Sophia was growing, but I needed to see it last, to know it was real. 3 weeks later, Sophia was up at 7 a.m., the kitchen alive with the scent of toasted bread, not her usual oat milk and organic cereal. She stood at the counter, her hair tied back, her face focused, no phone in sight. "Cafe interview today," she said, poking at her toast, her voice nervous but determined. "It's a start." I smiled, stirring my coffee, the mug steam curling in the morning light. "Keep me posted." She got the job, came home groaning, her sneakers caked with coffee stains, her feet sore from 8 hours of rude customers, spilled trays, stingy tips. "Rough day?" I asked, smirking, my tea warm in my hands. "My feet feel like they'd been run over," she muttered, kicking off her shoes, but she didn't quit, didn't complain. A week later, she landed an entry-level marketing job, her eyes bright as she told me over dinner, the kitchen warm with the scent of her cooking, chicken, vegetables, simple but hers. "It's not perfect," she said, setting down plates, her voice alive with hope, "but I can save for my own place." I beamed, my heart swelling. "That's a great start, Sophia." She slid an envelope across the table, the wood scratched from years of meals, her hand steady. "My first rent payment," she said, her voice firm. "I don't want to take you for granted anymore." I opened it, staring at the cash, $200, hard-earned from her cafe shifts. My throat tightened, tears threatening, but I pushed them back. "Keep it," I said, sliding it back. "Build your future, an apartment, a savings account, something real." Her eyes glistened, her breath catching. "You sure?" I nodded, my voice soft. "You're the daughter I always knew you could be, Sophia. That's enough." She swallowed, tears spilling, and for the first time in years, she hugged me, her arms tight, her warmth a bridge over years of distance. One Sunday, we had dinner with Elena and Carla, the dining room bright, the table set with Elena's best dishes, the air filled with laughter and the clink of glasses. Sophia stood, her voice steady, her hands clasped. "I was wrong about Mom," she said, her eyes meeting mine. "She's the strongest person I know, and I'm sorry for not seeing it sooner. I'm trying to make it right." Carla hugged her, her eyes misty. "You're doing it," she whispered. Elena squeezed my hand, her smile warm. "You raised a good one, Maria." I nodded, my chest light, the weight of Sophia's betrayal lifting, replaced by pride, fragile but real. I visited my childhood neighborhood, the sidewalks cracked, the air thick with memories of hunger, of promises to give Sophia better. I stood outside our old apartment, its paint peeling, and saw my younger self, 17, cleaning houses, dreaming of a future I'd never have, but giving it to her. Now she was building her own. I started a journal, inspired by the support group, the community center's chairs creaking as I wrote, then a blog to help parents like me, my words raw but honest. At the group, I shared our story, my voice strong, the room quiet. "Tough love saved my daughter," I said, others nodding, some wiping tears. "It saved me, too." A month later, Sophia moved into a small apartment, its walls bare, its floors creaking, but hers. She hugged me at the door, her suitcase bumping, her eyes wet. I love you, Mom, she said, her voice thick. Thank you for everything. I held her tight, my heart full, my voice breaking. I love you too, Sophia. As she walked away, her steps sure, I realized my revenge wasn't pain, wasn't anger, it was watching her become the woman I always knew she could be, seeing her honor me, seeing her stand tall. That was my victory, and it was enough.